on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope you're all doing well. Haven't seen you guys in a few days, but we are back. So we got a lot to talk about, so let's jump right in. The World Series. Texas wins the last two games. They beat Arizona 3-1 in Game 3, and then in Game 4, they went 11-7. They went up 10-0 in the third inning in that game without Adolis Garcia. Adolis Garcia strained his oblique in Game 3. He's actually off the postseason roster now, so he's out for the rest of the World Series, as is Max Scherzer, of course, one of their starting pitchers, with the back injury that knocked him out in the fourth inning of Game 3. So without Adolis Garcia, who was the MVP of the ALCS, a record for most RBIs in the playoff series, has probably at least 7 or 8 home runs in this postseason. Gone. They were up 10-0 in the third inning. Arizona with a little bit of a late comeback, but Texas hangs on to an 11-7. Now, Game 5 is tonight. It remains in Arizona. Texas runs out Nathan Lavallee. Arizona goes with Zach Gallen. So, Texas up 4-1, so they have pushed the Arizona Diamondbacks to the brink of elimination. So, we'll see how that goes tonight. That'll be at 8 o'clock tonight. I got some managerial news. The Mets are interviewing Craig Counsell. Apparently, he really wants the Mets job. Him and his wife love New York. I'm hoping the Mets hire him. He's a very good manager. The Mets have been a very unstable organization for a very long time. They had unstable ownership. That just would not spend money despite being in the biggest market in the Wilpons. And of course, a few years ago, they got Steve Cohen bought the team 3 years ago. They just finally got some stability in their front office by bringing in David Stearns as the president of baseball operations. They announced that probably a little over a month and a half ago, he took over as the regular season ended officially, and now they have a chance to finally find stability in the dugout with their manager. Probably the first time since, I guess, Terry Collins, who stepped down after the 2017 season. Even he was like just okay. I mean, his record wasn't great overall. He also didn't have a great team. Overall, he was a decent manager. Before that, the last true successful manager was Bobby Valentine. It was last year, probably 2005, 6. I mean, he took the Mets to the World Series in 2000. So hopefully they can bring in Counsell. He's been with Milwaukee for 8 years. Been in the playoffs 5 of the last 6. Now he goes to a team that's got some more expectations and bit of a bigger market. They'll give him some more bigger name players. So it could be a good opportunity for him. Of course, his contract is up. So hopefully the Mets can bring him in. Cleveland's also interviewing him. Cleveland's also looking at the Yankees bench coach Carlos Mendoza. The Cubs bench coach Andy Green, who was manager of San Diego for 4 seasons a few years back. Wasn't great. Also didn't have a great team. The San Francisco Giants catching/bullpen coach Craig Albernaz, and the Mariners bullpen coach as well as quality control coach Stephen Vogt, who's an ex-player, was a catcher for a while, and MLB retired a couple of years ago. Apparently he's a hot managerial candidate. I know San Diego's been looking for a new manager with Bob Melvin leaving to go to San Francisco. Now, at one point they were going to interview Mets bench coach Eric Chavez, but he apparently is now out of the running. So they're still looking around. We'll see where they go. I heard Ron Washington's the Braves third base coach is interested in the Houston Astros managerial opening. Of course, Houston Astros manager Dusty Baker announced retirement after 26 seasons as a manager. I saw a stat. He's played or managed in 30% of MLB's games all time. That's absolutely crazy. He played, I think, for almost 20 years, and he managed for another 26. That's crazy. Shout out to Dusty Baker. He retired. Definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame. Took 7 different teams to the playoffs, and the World Series 3 different teams. Of course, won a World Series last year. Yeah, he no doubt Hall of Famer if you ask me. Of course, Ron Washington was manager in Texas for a very long time. Took him to the World Series twice. I think in 2011 or 2012 or 2010, 2011. Lost both years, but took him there. That could be a good fit for him. A Houston Nationals team that's been to the ALCS 7 years in a row. 4 of those years were, I think, 3 or 4 years, those years were in the World Series. They've won twice in that span. Going to run back a lot of the same players. Probably, would like a smooth transition, with their manager, and they can go from, Dusty Baker to Ron Washington. Ron Washington's another much older manager, very experienced. older school. That could be a smooth transition. That could be a good fit for Ron Washington, who hasn't managed in Texas. Last time he managed was in Texas. It's been a little while, but he's been the Brave third base coach for the last few years. He's done a good job. So that could be a good fit for him, and it could be a smooth transition for an Astros team that is going to go into next year once again looking to win another World Series. So basketball, we had a trade that dropped yesterday at 2 in the morning. James Harden is finally a Los Angeles Clipper. He goes to the Clippers along with PJ Tucker. In return, the Sixers got a bunch of guys. They get Marcus Morris. They get KJ Martin Jr. They got Nick Batum, and there was somebody else in the trade. Terrence Mann was not involved. So the Sixers got 4 dudes in that trade. So to me, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell with this trade. Maybe being a lose-lose, to be honest. But to me, the Sixers will win the trade so far, at least, because Sixers were very thin, didn't really have a lot of depth, and now they get a lot of depth. You get a guy like Marcus Morris, who's a nice 3-and-D guy to have on your bench. You get a guy like Nick Batum, who's much older, not near the same player, but he can still shoot the three a little bit on your bench. You get a young guy in KJ Martin, who can provide some depth. So you get some decent depth back for James Harden. You get some picks back. For the Clippers, all right, they get the guy they wanted. I don't know why you wanted him. You were able to keep Terrence Mann, who's like, I mean, I do think they're overvaluing him a little bit, but he's a solid bench player, still young. So I kind of understand why he wanted to keep him. And look, I'm not a Harden fan. I never have been. So I don't really get whether they've wanted him so bad. That being said, they have valued Terrence Mann, very, very highly, and they're able to keep him while getting James Harden, which is definitely a good thing. Also, a team that to me I wasn't a huge fan of their depth loses even more depth. So I'm not really sure if that's if that really is a great idea to, a team that's already, their depth behind their 2 stars, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, who, by the way, are always hurt, is what? It was, Amir Coffey, Norman Powell, Amir Coffey, Terrence Mann, Marcus Morris, and a bunch of these guys are gone. So is that really, a smart idea? Also, Robert Covington was also in my trade. Covington is a good guy to have on your bench. He's a veteran, been around the block, had playoff experience, good defender. So the Sixers pick up 3 or 4 guys that can help them on the bench. Outside of Joel Embiid or anyone that really scares me, no. Maybe Tyrese Maxey. I like Maxey. But he's not a star by any means. I think he's very good. Still very young. Tobias Harris is okay. And now their bench is better, for sure. But their starting lineup, like, outside of Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, I don't know who you really have starting. Like, who's your shooting guard now? Is it Furkan Korkmaz? I don't know. I mean, obviously it's not Danny Green because they just waived him. Who's obviously Tobias Harris is number 3. Who's your power forward? Now that PJ Tucker is no longer there, is it Marcus Morris? I don't know. So I still don't think that they're ready. I think they'll be the 6th seed in the East. I think they lose in the first round this year. The Clippers I had is like the 5th team in the Western Conference or something like that. I don't think it should make them all that much better. I still think they're a first round exit. It's the Clippers, guys. On paper, this team should go to the Western Conference Finals. Justin, of course, you all know, he's been on my show many times. We have our own shows together. He tweeted out, and he told me in person yesterday, that if this team does not get to the Western Conference Finals, it's a failure. And I completely agree with him. You have Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook on one team. You tell me that team can't win more than a playoff series? Like, Now, the expectations have been raised for the Clippers. At this point, if they don't get at least to the conference finals, I think you gotta blow the team up. Like this whole Kawhi and Paul George thing is a massive failure. They have a chance to salvage it if they can make a run this year. But the picks they get back was 2 second rounds and a swap in 2029. That's what Sixers got. So the picks really nothing there. Comes to the picks. Like if they lose in the first or second round, Harden's going to be a free agent, and even if he wants to come back, like you can't give him a max deal at this point in his career. At that point, you just have to completely blow this thing up. Like what else are you gonna do? Like you bring in, obviously you got Kawhi Leonard there. You pay Kawhi Leonard all this money. You gave up the universe for Paul George. You give Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's emerged as one of the best players in basketball. You have Gallinari, who at the time was a very good player. You give up 5 first-round picks for Paul George. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 5 first-round picks plus a couple other players for Paul George. Always, obviously, now you bring in Russell Westbrook, didn't cost you anything. You got him with the buyout market last year and re-signed him to a cheap 2-year deal in the offseason. Now you trade away 4 players and a couple draft picks for James Harden, who's making $35 million this year. If you still can't get, at least to the conference finals, if you get to the conference finals, okay, all right. So next week, all right, what do we need? Should we bring back Harden? What do we do? What other pieces do we need? Okay. But if you still can't get out of the second round, at some point you have to realize, all right, this isn't working. Steve Ballmer and that Clippers front, obviously the owner there, and then the Clippers front office will have to realize, this isn't working. This is a failure. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens for the Clippers. I expect this to crash and burn. Because Kawhi Leonard's going to miss about 50 games. Paul George will miss 30 or 40. I'm sure Harden will just be healthy. He'll only average 60 points a game. He's not that good anymore. Russ is giving you 10 points a game off the bench. Nothing scary there. If that. Also, this team is really old. Harden's past his prime. Russ is definitely past his prime. Kawhi is getting a little bit older. He's had too many injuries. Paul George's prime is running out. He's had a lot of injuries. And this team is very, very old. The only young player on this team that really is going to produce it all is probably Terrence Mann, who's going to average, 8 points a game with the bench, and Ivica Zubac is going to get rebounds, which is still a valuable thing, but still he's not scaring you on the offensive end. Other news for basketball, Pacers extend their head coach Rick Carlisle. Multi-year extension. They're off to a good start early on this year. And Anthony Simons is out, expected to miss about 6 weeks with that thumb surgery. Also, the NBA All-Star Game is returning to the East versus West format. Alright, let's talk about college football. First, let's go over the games from last week. Georgia beats Florida 43-20. Florida went up 7-3 in the very beginning stages of that game, and then Florida just completely took over. Their running back, McConkey, there his name, had a big game. Ohio State beats Wisconsin 24-10. Yeah, Florida over Wake Forest, Florida State rather, 41-16. Washington beat Stanford 42-33 in a close game. Kansas is a massive upset over Oklahoma. Rock Chalk Jayhawk. I just learned that. That's why I just messed it up. Because I just learned that. I saw it on social media. I was like, never heard of it, but that's actually pretty clever. They beat Oklahoma. They had a late touchdown to complete the big upset there. 38-33. Oklahoma came in ranked 6th in the country. Texas all over BYU, 35-6. Oregon against Utah. Oregon wins 35-6. Penn State over Indiana, 33-24. You had Arizona with a big upset over Oregon State, 27-24. You had Ole Miss over Vanderbilt, 33-7. You had Notre Dame crushes Pitt, 58-7. Some of them actually didn't even play that great yet. He had 2 interceptions in that game. Georgia Tech with a big upset over North Carolina, 46-42. So UNT's now lost to Virginia and Georgia Tech in football. Yeah, they were top 10 a couple weeks ago. Definitely are not anymore. No, they came in at 17th last week, and I don't even think they're ranked. Number 19, Louisville shuts out number 20, Duke, 23-0. Number 19, Air Force beats Colorado State, 30-13. Number 21, Tennessee beats Kentucky, 33-27. Number 22, Tulane over Rice, 30-28. Number 23, UCLA over Colorado, 28-16. So Dion and the Buffs suffer another loss. Number 24, USC beats Cal, 50-49. Wow. Talk about no defense in that one. Almost 100 points combined. Cal actually had failed too much virtually at the end of the game. You can't even blame them. I mean, their defense gave up 50 points. You can't trust them, especially against Caleb Williams and company. And number 25, James Madison, that came in ranked 25th in the country, beats Old Dominion 30-27. All right, so before we do the game picks for this week, we're going to talk about the college football rankings. The first college football playoff rankings came out yesterday. First of all, hope you all had a safe and happy Halloween yesterday. Ohio State is ranked first in the college football playoff rankings. I'm not sure how I feel about over Georgia. I mean, like Ohio State. I mean, they're both 8-0, but and Georgia's had a couple of games that were close. You know, they got into some slow starts. Ohio State has too. I mean, they beat Wisconsin by 14. They should have blown that team out of the water. I mean, the Penn State game being close like that. Penn State's very good. They came in a top 10 team. Yeah, they're one of the 10 to 12 best teams in the country. I would have probably had Georgia ahead of Ohio State. But Georgia's ranked second. Michigan moved one spot down to third. Florida State's at 4. Washington's at 5. At 6, you have Oregon. Texas is at 7. Alabama at 8. Oklahoma at 9. Ole Miss at 10. Penn State at 11. Missouri at 12. Missouri's ranked 12th in the country. Louisville at 13. LSU at 14. Notre Dame at 15. Oregon State at 16. So they fall a little bit. It's a tough loss to Arizona. 17th is Tennessee, 18th is Utah, 19th is UCLA. USC moves up to 20th. Kansas is 21st. They jump back into their rankings. Oklahoma State's 22nd. Kansas State up to 23rd. Tulane at 24th. And Air Force at 25th. So, of course, UNC is now out of the rankings, like I said. Completely plummeted after 2 really tough losses to Virginia and Georgia Tech in back-to-back weeks. Or 2 out of 3, or whatever it was. Those are your first college football rankings of the season. Before we do game picks for college football and NFL, first let's talk about the NFL scores from last week. Bills beat the Bucs 24-18 on Thursday Night Football. Bucs had a late comeback attempt, fell a little short. Rams got blown out by the Cowboys 43-20. Dallas wins that game. Dak throws for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb, huge game. 12 catches, 158 yards, and a touchdown. You know, Stafford got hurt in the game. He has he's day-to-day. I think it might have been his knee. But Vikings beat the Packers 24-10. Unfortunately, Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles in the game. He's out for the year. It's a really tough loss for a guy who's developed into a very good quarterback in a contract year. Really good teammate. Took the Vikings back into contention, winning 4 of his last 5 games and starting 0-3. That's a shame. Vikings made a trade. We'll talk trade right after I do game picks very shortly. Titans beat the Falcons 20-23. Will Levis, the second-round rookie that no one has confidence in, including myself, in his first career start for Ryan Tannehill, with Tannehill being out, was for 230 yards and 4 touchdowns, 3 of them to DeAndre Hopkins. Will Levis cast up the rest of the year, by the way. I don't know if you also don't know if he's good or not. Titans aren't that great, but you know, apart from I don't think the Titans are going anywhere. They're as mediocre as it gets. Might as well see what the kid's got. If he shows promise, all right, he's your star next year. Build around him. If not, all right, now you can make a decision. Do we give him one more chance? Do we move on? Look for somebody else. So at least you know you don't want to go into next year completely blind. You want to after blowing a season last year of all the injuries and losing those games late in the season. Having a cap crunch and having to lose a bunch of guys this past off season, which ends up looks like you might throw this year away, and you don't want to throw another year away. A team that was the top seed in the AFC like 3 or 4 years ago. Just to throw 3 straight years away would be really tough. Also, he probably gives them the best chance to win. Malik Willis is awful. Tannehill has nothing left. I think he gives you the best chance to win. Saints over the Colts, 38-27. Derek Carr with 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Dolphins over the Patriots, 31-17. Tua for 324 and three touchdowns and the one interception. Jets over the Giants, 13-10 in overtime. Jets pull it out. My God, that was a bad game. 23 punts. 23 between the two teams. 23 punts. Both punters had a freaking field day. Thomas Morrison from the Jets had a bunch inside the 5. Gilliam from the Giants had some nice punts. Oh my God. That was a bad game. The Giants completely blew that game away, by the way. They threw that game out the window. Okay, look. They had -9 passing yards in the game. That's, first of all, when I saw that stat, I was like, whoa. I didn't know that was possible. That's worse than the Jets passing. I don't think Zach Wilson did that last year. He was as bad as a quarterback can be last year. Yeah, Tommy DeVito, I'm not putting too much blame on him because he's a third-string quarterback. He's like a 7th-round rookie or undrafted rookie out of I don't even nowhere. But -1 passing yard? Good God. But I also wanted to talk about some of the decision-making by the Giants because holy hell, it was bad. So, there's about 30 seconds left. It's a 4th and 1. You're deep in Jets territory. So you have two options. Two things could happen. One, you hand the ball to Saquon Barkley, who has 36 carries for over 120 yards. The Jets defense is already exhausted. They had stopped them earlier in the drive, but they jumped off sides on a punt, so they kept the drive alive, and they just kept handing the ball to Barkley, and just kept gobbling up yards. You either get a yard, and the game is over. You win. Cool. Congratulations. And I would be on this show screaming into this microphone of how pissed I would be that the Jets lost to the freaking Giants. Or, you don't get it, but guess what? The Jets only have like 20 seconds, no timeouts, they gotta go 40, 50 yards to get the field goal range. Instead, Brian Daboll brings out his kicker, Graham Gano, who misses a 33-yard field goal, basically an extra point. So it gives the Jets life with 24 seconds to go. But still, the Jets are on their own, like, what? 15-yard line with 24 seconds and no timeouts? You know, what the heck are they going to do? First play, Zach Wilson throws a pass to Garrett Wilson. First down was for like 25, 30 yards, but the Giants jumped off sides. So because of the penalty, the clock stops. Yes, they just declined it, obviously, but because it was a penalty, the clock stopped at 17 seconds, so the Giants get just a free timeout. Next play, Zach Wilson with another deep pass, completed. They clock it with 1 second. Zerline comes out, kicks a field goal, we go to overtime. So because the Giants didn't give the ball to Saquon Barkley, who already had 36 carries in the game, didn't trust him to get 1 yard for some reason. I don't know why they keep doing this. We go to overtime. Giants get the ball first. Okay, look. Obviously, in overtime, you don't want to get the ball first because obviously the rule is if you only get a field goal, or don't score at all, but team can get a touchdown or a field goal and win the game. Or like I know, both teams get a possession. So the first, if you get a field goal, if the other team gets a field goal, then now the next score wins. But if you get a touchdown, they get a touchdown. Now the game continues. So you guys get the point. You guys know the role. In that game, your offense has done nothing all game. You got Tommy DeVito, was 2 of 7 for -1 yard. That's a situation where you probably should have deferred. I would have probably kicked the ball off to the Jets. The Jets offense wasn't doing anything. Stop them, get the ball back, get a field goal, go home for a win. So they take the ball. First play, Saquon Barkley, they go run or a screen for no gain. Holding offense, 10 yards back. They end up not doing anything from there. They have to punt. And because they're punting from so far back, just get the ball their own 39-yard line. And, eventually they convert a first down. On the first set of downs, they convert. Zach with 11-yard pass to Garrett Wilson. It was actually a penalty on the Giants that they declined. Then the next third down was 3rd and long. Zach Wilson threw a long pass to Malik Taylor. Incomplete, but passing interference on the Giants. I think it was on Deontay Banks. So, because it's a spot foul, puts the Jets in field goal range. They bring out Zerline, 35-yarder, field goal, good, Jets win. I don't understand like what the Giants were doing. Like they completely threw that game away. Like I love Brian Daboll. I think he's a great coach, and he deserved Coach of the Year last year. But like, what are you doing? I understand he had no quarterback and he doesn't have an offensive line, so he couldn't pass the ball. But all he had to do was run on 4th and 1. Why are you not running the ball? You would have won the game. But I will certainly take it as a Jets fan. So thank you, Brian Daboll. Thank you, Tommy DeVito. Thank you, Graham Gano. I will take the W. Jets to get the 4-3, Giants to 2-6. Well, I don't think Zach Wilson played that bad. It was a messy, rainy game. He had no offensive line. He had 3 different centers. And when it mattered on that last drive, he made 2 big throws. Clocked it with 1 second to go to get them in field goal range. Set up Greg Zuerlein to send to overtime. And then in overtime, he made the 1 throw on 3rd down to Gary Wilson that he needed to. Yes, he got help. He got helped out with a penalty on the second one, but I'm not sure if a lot of quarterbacks would have not done well in that situation. He didn't turn the ball over. He didn't throw any interceptions. Got the win. That's all that matters. Jaguars beat the Steelers 20-10. Please get Matt Canada out of Pittsburgh. He is god-awful. He sucks. Get him out of there. Jaguars are playing very good football. They get to 6-2. Eagles beat the Commanders 38-31. That Eagles secondary is a little concerning to me. Slay and Bradbury have not been as good as they were last year. Although they brought in Kevin Byard last week in a trade. But Samuel did play very well. Threw for almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, just to 1 pick. A.J. Brown, 8 catches, 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's the first receiver in NFL history with at least 125 receiving yards in 6 straight games. That's crazy. Him and Tyreek Hill might be the top 2 MVP candidates right now. It's crazy as it does that sound. Tyreek's already got over 1,000 yards. It's on pace to shatter the all-time single-season receiving record set by Calvin Johnson about 10 or 15 years ago. I think it was about 10 or so years ago. A.J. Brown's got 125 yards at least in 6 straight games. He's going to be, probably pushing 2,000 this year, possibly. I know it's a quarterback award, but it shouldn't be. I gotta give credit where it's due. Panthers beat the Texans 15-13, their first win of the year on the game-winning field goal. So Bryce Young's first career win. Seahawks over the Browns 24-20. The Broncos over the Chiefs 24-9. The first time the Broncos have beaten the Chiefs in 8 years. Since 2015 in Peyton Manning's last year in the league. Wow, the streak is over. That snowy game, so of course Mahomes to struggle a little bit. Not for nothing, but Taylor Swift was not in the house. I mean, I can't stand her. I can't stand all the PR, but it seems like whenever she's in the building, the Chiefs go off, and then they're not as good. Ravens beat the Cardinals 31-24. Gus Edwards had 3 touchdowns in that game. But Joshua Dobbs has been benched, and we'll get to more on him in a minute. Bengals beat the 49ers 31-17. Purdy struggled again. 3 for 365, but 2 picks against just the 1 touchdown. That's 5 picks in his last 3 games. Well, guys, he's not this great quarterback. He's a bottom tier quarterback who's in a really good system. They need to realize that, and then they need to win games with their defense, and they need to lean on their skill guys. They can't trust him to be, to be honest, the 49ers have lost 3 straight games. They got a little cocky. They saw Brock Purdy. They're like, oh my god, this guy's actually a great quarterback. Like, no, he's not. I've loved the kid. I've been very positive about him, but you just gotta come back to reality. Like, if he was on the New England Patriots or an offense that isn't that good like that, he would be doing any better than Mac Jones is in that offense. And I'm not a Mac Jones guy by any means. I hate the Patriots. Trust me, I despise them. And I'm not a Mac Jones guy. I don't think he's very good at all. I think he's a bust, and he won't be in New England next year. I don't think he'll be a starter anywhere next year, or ever again, for that matter. But I don't think if you put Purdy in that offense, he'd be doing any better, to be honest. Maybe a little better. He's a little better than Mac, probably, but like, he was the last. I know it's a great story. Not to crap on it, but he was the last pick in the draft for a reason. I mean, he didn't do anything special with Iowa State. mean, he's in because he's in that loaded offense. I know he didn't have Debo, but he still had maybe the league's best back in McCaffrey. He still had Brandon Ayuk, who's a great receiver. Still had a top 3 tight end in Kittle. There's no reason he should be struggling. And I kind of got it against Cleveland. They have a great defense, very underrated defense. McCaffrey and Debo Williams will get hurt in the game. But against the Vikings, god-awful defense, what is your excuse? I don't care you didn't have Debo or Trent Williams. He still had more than enough. Against the Bengals, who have a pretty good defensive line, but their secondary isn't that great. Why are you throwing 2 picks against them and struggling? And his picks are really bad interceptions, too. So Florida's got some things to think about. Sunday Night Football, Chargers beat the Bears 30-13. Herbert torches the Bears 298 and three touchdowns. Tyson Bagent starting again this week for the Bears, so not a good sign. And the Lions beat the Raiders 26-14. Jahmyr Gibbs' huge game, made for 152 and a touchdown. The Raiders have made some major changes. They have fired head coach Josh McDaniel and general manager Dave Ziegler, as well as offensive coordinator Mick Lombardi. Thankfully, McDaniels is out. Thank God. Josh McDaniels is one of the worst head coaches in NFL history. Didn't last 2 years in any of his stints in Denver or in Las Vegas. Guy was awful. GM Ziegler was awful as well. Thank God those 2 guys are gone. All right, let's do some game picks now. Actually, before we get to game pick, we're going to go over the trades. So the Packers send Russell Douglas to the Bills. Veteran corner. The Packers send the 5th round pick along with Douglas, and they get a 3rd round pick back. Look, the Packers suck. Jordan Love is absolutely terrible. He's not the guy. It's not all on him. I think Matt LaFleur is very overrated. The play calling there isn't great. They thought they were going to finally have David Bakhtiari, your all-pro left tackle, healthy. Didn't happen. Matt LaFleur needs to run the ball a little more. They have a very young receiving core that isn't that great. I like Christian Watson, I like Romeo Dubes. Both are very young. Besides that, there's really nothing else there. James Reed's only a rookie. He was only a 3rd round pick. But Jordan Love, he's not the guy. He's not him. I've said it many times. He's not the guy. I didn't like him coming out. I didn't like when the Packers traded up for him. I've said many times, he's not good. It's not going to work this year. And look what happened. He's not very good at football. Back to Russell Douglas. The Bills need a little help in the secondary with Tre'Davious White out for the year, so they grab that. He's not the greatest, but they definitely need some help. Lions bringing them some depth at receiver with bringing down the Peoples-Jones from the Cleveland Browns. Browns get a 25 6th round pick in return. Probably think they didn't need him anymore. Lions pick up some depth. A monster trip between the Commanders and the Niners. Chase Young to the 49ers. 2nd overall pick a few years ago. Had a lot of injuries the last couple of years, but has been healthy this year. Has played very well. They give up a 3rd round pick for the 49ers. They have Nick Bosa, Chase Young, and Eric Armstead on 1D line. That's absolutely insane. And even Harden, Randy Gregory, they have the best front 7 in football now. That is scary. You had the Vikings make a move. They trade Ezra Cleveland to Jacksonville. He's one of the best young guards in the league for a 6th round pick. He's played well, but he goes to Cleveland. That's a nice trade for Cleveland, who's had some injuries on the offensive line. The right tackle Conklin got hurt. He's really good. Not Cleveland. Jacksonville. I'm thinking of Cleveland. He goes to Jacksonville. Jacksonville O-line hasn't been great this year. I know that they've kind of been shuffling some pieces. If Cam Robinson suspended the first 4 games, he has sort of rookie, and you've kind of had to move pieces around. Lawrence taking the 9th most sacks in the league this year with 19, and then this will definitely help their offensive line. Vikings make another move. Josh Dobbs, who I mentioned, was benched in Arizona. He goes to Minnesota. Jaron Hall, their 4th round rookie at BYU, is still starting this week, but Josh Dobbs is there, of course, with Kirk Cousins out for the year. Arizona will either start Kyler Murray, come back from the torn ACL, or Clayton Tune this week. Of course, Montez Smith goes to the Bears for a 2nd round pick. So he's very, very good. Kind of a buying for next year, assuming they can re-sign him. Considering Chase Young went for a 3rd. Bears maybe overpaid a little bit, but we shall see what happens. So those were the major trades. Jamin Johnson did not get moved. He requested a trade. The Bears top corner, I'll say Devontae Adams didn't get moved. or just don't want to trade him for whatever reason. Maybe with McDaniel's gun that'll help, but he clearly isn't happy there. I don't know. He might be in his final moments over there. I think he's got in the offseason. They need to just completely tear that thing down. Clean house in Las Vegas. All right, let's do the game picks for the NFL. Actually, one more piece of news. Rashawn Gary got a big contract extension from the Green Bay Packers. 4 years, $107 million. $34.6 million signing bonus. Very good young pass rushers, getting better every year. And one more trade. Seattle Seahawks picked up Leonard Williams from the Giants for a 24-second, 25 fifth. Leonard Williams very underrated. Defensive tackle, great pass rusher. Will definitely help the Seahawks defensive line. All right, Thursday Night Football tomorrow night. Titans Steelers. Well, there's some mediocre matchups this week. I just want to let you guys know. Titans Steelers. I'm going to take... This one's tough. Both teams are mediocre. Their differences. The Steelers are somehow, like, tied for first place. Somehow. And that AFC North has been a complete letdown this year. I'm going to take the Steelers. You know, Will Levis looked really good. But, you know, it's one game. I don't want to buy too much stock in him yet. Especially since I'm very low on him. Steelers got a great defense. TJ Watt's going to eat him alive. And this should be definitely a very low-scoring game, but I will take the Pittsburgh Steelers. Dolphins Chiefs are playing in Germany at 9:30 in the morning Eastern Time. What time they'll be in Germany, but it's 9:30 over here. I'm going to take the Chiefs. I know that they looked really awful against the Broncos, but it's one game. You know, that Dolphins offense is very, very powerful. Tyreek Hill has 61 catches for 1,014 yards and 8 touchdowns in 8 games. That's absolutely insane. But the Dolphins, to me, they haven't really beaten anybody. I'm still a little skeptical on that. I know they're at 6-2, so I am going to take the Chiefs in this one. Vikings, Falcons. I'm taking the Falcons. By the way, Desmond Ritter has been benched. By the way, thank God, because he's horrible. He's thrown for 1,700 yards, 6 touchdowns against 6 picks. He's not very good. They wasted the pick on him last year. So Tyler Heineke is the starter. Heineke, he came in relief of Ritter last week, and he has the last couple times this year. He's played a lot of football. He was a very good backup, very good fill-in starter. He showed it in Washington. You know, they got a real good running game. Vikings don't have a good defense. You know, there's Jaron Hall making his first career start. I'm taking Atlanta. Cardinals against the Browns. I'm taking Cleveland. I don't care who the quarterback is. Arizona is not good. Now, you're going to have Kyler, who hasn't played in about a year. Almost a year. Coming off a major knee injury. Or a 7th-round rookie, Clayton Tune, making his first career start. Cleveland's got a great defense. Arizona's going to have a lot of time putting up any points. I'm taking Cleveland. Rams and Packers. Stafford might not play in this game. I forgot who their backup is. If it's Bryce Perkins or whoever it was. I think they tried to bring back John Wolford off Tampa Bay's backup squad, but Wolford declined that invitation. But I'm going to take actually the Rams. The Packers were so bad. Now you trade your second best corner away. Their season's over. I'm going to take the Rams. And Puka Nacua, I trust, I guess. Commanders and Patriots. So Commanders obviously trade your 2 star red rushers and Chase Young and Montez Sweat away for a couple of draft picks. Per the ownership group there, Josh Harris, Magic Johnson and company, we're pushing for that. I'm still taking the Commanders. I think this is a good matchup for them. Patriots really don't have much of a pass rush, so that kind of matches up against the Commanders' very bad offensive line. So Howard should have a little more time to throw than usual. He's got a lot of good weapons around him. You know, the Commanders still have Jonathan Allen and De'Aaron Payne in the middle. So I think Maxion will still face some pressure. Patriots offense is still horrible. And you lose Kendrick Bourne, who's been your best receiver this year. For the season, your best receiver now is probably Demario Douglas, who was, a 7th-round rookie or something. So I actually am going to take the Commanders. Patriots are not good. Bears, Saints. I'm taking the Saints. Tyson Bagent starting. That's all I need to know. Taking the Saints. Seahawks and Ravens. This is a good game. I'm going to take Seattle in an upset. I'm still not sold on the Ravens. Lamar's been a little inconsistent this year. You know, I know Geno hasn't been as good as he was last year, but Seattle's got a really good offense. Ravens got a good defense, but I'm going to take Seattle in a bit of an upset. Bucks Texans. I'm taking the Bucks. Texans after a bit of a promising start have looked kind of kind of what we thought. Although I love what I've seen from C.J. Stroud. The Bucks been a little better than expected, I guess. Baker's horrible, but that Texans secondary's banged up, so I'll take the Bucks. 405, we got Colts against the Panthers. I'm gonna take Indy. Carolina's secondary is absolutely horrible. Colts running game is getting going. Jonathan Taylor starting to play very well, getting more involved. So I'll take the Colts. 425, Giants Raiders. This is gonna be a very bad game. You got the god awful Giants. And so the Raiders now have Antonio Pierce as their linebackers coach, as their head coach, I believe. That's who the interim coach is now. I'm actually going to look it up real quick. If I'm not mistaken, Antonio Pierce played for the Giants. Yeah, it's Antonio Pierce. So we have a former Giant linebacker who I believe won a Super Bowl with Tom Coughlin as their interim head coach. So they have a linebackers coach, their head coach. They don't have an offensive coordinator or a GM. I'm actually going to take the Giants in this one. The Raiders are a complete mess. They just fired their head coach, their offensive coordinator, and their general manager. Jimmy G has been benched. Thank God he's not been good. They got a fourth-round rookie, Aiden O'Connell, making his second start of the season. First start looked kind of okay. But Jimmy G, 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns against 9 picks. Ouch. Devontae Adams is very frustrated. All the players there are frustrated. They're about to tear the house down the offseason. Looks like Daniel Jones is coming back. He's not very good. And Max Crosby is definitely going to eat him alive. But the Raiders, they're such a mess right now. I think the Giants actually sneak by. Cowboys-Eagles is a big game. Big NFC East matchup. I'm taking Dallas. No, not Dallas. I'm taking Philly. I hate Philly. I hate both teams. Dak Prescott. I don't know what to say about this dude. He's Dak Prescott. Some days he's good. Some days he's not. I don't think he's very good. The Eagles secondary isn't great. It should be a very good game. Typical NFC East matchup. I think Dak puts up one of his typical 3 interception performances. I'm going to take the Eagles. Sunday Night Football. Bills, Bengals. Big game. 2 very good AFC teams. I don't think the Bengals, they've turned around. Joe Burrow clearly is healthy now. The Bills, I'm not sold on whatsoever. I don't think they win the division. I'm taking the Bengals. Monday Night Football, Chargers and Jets. I'm taking the Jets, okay? Not to be biased, but I am taking the Jets. I know the Jets' offense is horrible. Their offensive line is depleted. Mekhi Becton, what a bust he is at left tackle. I don't know who their center is. Hopefully Joe Tippmann comes back for the Jets' sake. You got Max Mitchell starting at right tackle. So their offensive line is awful with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. Zach Wilson's going to face a lot of pressure. But the rest of that Chargers defense is absolutely horrible. So I think Jets' offense can do something. And I trust the Jets defense. In my opinion, they have the best defense in the NFL based off what I've seen so far. Maybe on paper, San Francisco is better. You can make an argument maybe Dallas or something. But from what I've seen, I think the Jets have the best defense in the league. Of course, you got Breece Hall there. Just running back, he is phenomenal. I'm taking the New York Jets. All right, not too much else. But Shane Pinto was suspended for 41 games. Almost Sanders player. Something there into it is insane. So something definitely happened there. But he got suspended. Frank Clark was signed by Seattle Seahawks. They picked him off the street. Got by Denver, to where he started his career. Joe Thornton announced retirement after 24 seasons. Very, very long career. Might be a Hall of Famer. Great player, so shout out to him. Cooper Flagg is committed to Duke, the projected #1 pick next year. He's very fun to watch. I'm very excited to see him at Duke this upcoming year. And rest in peace to Adam Johnson. Just want to say that real quick. The former NHL player with the Penguins had that really bad incident playing hockey. That's why if you're a hockey player, please make sure you wear that chin strap. It should be mandated in every hockey league at every level. Hockey's a very dangerous sport. You gotta be wearing that, guys, okay? Guys and gals. Everyone. You gotta be wearing that. Hockey's very dangerous. Please always wear that if you're a hockey player. Please, I don't care if it's pee wee hockey. If if it's junior high school, Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, professional. Always wear that chin strap. It's very it's there for a reason, guys. It's not a decoration. It's there for a reason. Please always wear that. And last thing I have is actually Sacred Heart related. So Sacred Heart Sports, they are leaving the Northeast Conference. They're moving into the MAC. Very, very exciting news. They get to play Fairfield a lot, who, Fairfield used to be in the NEC. Of course, they're right up the block. You get to play Quinnipiac a lot, who they've played a lot in the past. They're only 30 minutes away from Shoe, maybe 4 minutes away from Shoe. And Marist and all these other schools that are close by. It's a better conference. They're a perfect fit. Should have been trying to do this for probably about 5 years, and they finally did it. Very, very happy, A couple sports kids join them, including football and then men's volleyball as well. But Shoe's still going to keep them around. They'll be independent. They'll maybe stand in the NEC or something like that. So, very excited to see what Shoe Sports does from here. If you want some more information on it, you can check out the press release. Just look it up. Or you go to the Spectrum newspaper for Sacred Heart University on their website, shoespectrumnewspaper.com. There's an article on it. You might notice the name at the top because it's me. I got the article, and my 2 co-editors, they contribute to it, so their names are at the bottom, so shout out to them. But yeah, Shoe Sports is going to the MAC. Starting in the 2024-2025 athletic season. Alright, that's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long, have a great day.